Good evening. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hope you're all well out there. This is Nick, creator of Hayes Reviews. We're back for another live stream this evening. Wasn't able to do my usual Friday night live stream, reading through Zbigniew Brzezinski's Between Two Ages. But I thought we'd do one tonight. I owe you a live stream. I wasn't here on Friday. And for that, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Had a long day on Friday. I went down to London and back from Manchester. We had a bit of an appointment down there. It was an embassy appointment, so we had to be on time, and we had to make sure that there were no hiccups in the journey, which there weren't. And it was my first time traveling on a train with my 4-month-old son, and he did extremely well. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to shut the office door over there. All right. What's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Little bit of a change in regular programming tonight. This is kind of a official live stream, but also a bit of a test. On Thursday night, just gone, I did a test live stream to see if we could recreate some of the technical glitches that we've been having recently as we've been trying to stream and read Between Two Ages. And we managed to go for 2 hours, 30 minutes, and there were no problems in the live stream. A couple of audio glitches here and there, but I think they were on the receiver side rather than my side. So that was interesting. No problems on Thursday night. We'll see if we have any problems tonight. So this is a it's kind of a test. It's also kind of a real live stream. I'm experimenting a little bit with a different layout, as you can see. Slightly different intro structure tonight. Because why not? Right? You've got to iterate, you have to improve as you go along. You can't just do the same thing day in, day out. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing day in, day out, expecting a different result. So we're doing things a little bit differently. As you can see, I've got my book cam up. This is a live feed, and I'm showing you a picture. It's page 362 from a book called Hidden History. And it's an image that got passed around my Telegram group today, and I forwarded it to the Telegram chat. And I thought, yeah, that is a good image. I've seen it before. I've read this book. I've reviewed it on the channel way back in the day, probably 3 years ago or something, when I reviewed this book on the channel. And it is a really interesting image, right? You can see at the very center there, we've got Alfred Milner. And there he is. That's the man who lends his name to the Milner-Fabian conspiracy, which we've read and analyzed in a 16-part live stream series. The longest book, I think, we've read on the channel. And then other names you might be aware of. We got Rothschild, Lord Rothschild here. We got Balfour, whose name goes to the Balfour Declaration. We got William T. Stead. He was one of the first kind of media moguls. Think Robert Maxwell or what's the other guy called? Rupert Murdoch. This kind of character, but back in the day, William T. Stead published Cecil Rhodes's will and testament, in which the various versions changed. He did 7 or 8 or 9 or something different wills, but that's the document in which he wanted to bequeath his massive wealth to the founding of a secret society that would help Britain take over the world. Quite an interesting document. That was on, and that was published by W.T. Stead. Who else have we got in here? We've got Edward Grey, Winston Churchill. Of course, we all know Winston Churchill, the most famous Brit, the quintessential British man, the hero, the legendary Winston Churchill. And I'm sure Lionel Curtis, okay, he's a big one as well, a very important one. Lionel Curtis, he wrote the book, which I can hands down tell you we will never read on the channel because it's 1,000 pages long. Civitas Dei, the Commonwealth of God. This is one of the early books about taking over the world. Having a one world system of control and governance. He was also, Mr. Lionel Curtis, he was also a founding member of the Royal Institute for International Affairs. I think I'm correct in saying that. There's a lot on him in Carol Quigley's writing. There is a biography of his about him out there. For some reason, well, for some reason, but it's well overpriced, and I haven't been able to save up enough pennies and to buy a copy of that. Unfortunately, it's a good £100, I think, last time I checked. But another name worth knowing. Now, on the USA side, we've got President Wilson. We've got Mandel House, Colonel House. They had a, shall we say, close, intimate partnership. They spoke as one. It's kind of, I haven't done the deep dive into this, but it's often thought that House was Wilson's kind of handler. And going down this list, we got the Round Table, the Pilgrim Society, the Federal Reserve. We got Rockefeller as well. There's J.D. Rockefeller, of course, infamous oil tycoon who reinvented himself as a philanthropist and had pictures of him going around town giving out coins to young poor children so that people would look at him and think, oh, what a generous, kind, loving, fantastic man he is, and overlook his crimes and his dastardly deeds and the horrible things that he did, including murdering people and monopolizing, which involved a lot of pushing other people out of business. And yes, the whole Rockefeller legacy and lineage is fraught with what's the word? Controversy. I've got a bunch. This section on my shelf. Oh, you can't quite see it. Hang on. I can adjust this very quickly for you. If we slide me over here a little bit, and then we do this, whoop, you can see that this section on the top shelf over my shoulder here, starting at that yellow book, going all the way up to this thin blue one here. That's all Rockefeller. That's all books on Rockefeller and about Rockefeller. And then on the far side over here, we've also got Northern Guard's Rockefeller Controlling the Game, more recent one. That's not sitting in the Rockefeller section because that's in my Northern Guard section where I have the three. I think he's only done three books so far. He's only published 3 books so far, right? But I have my Northern Guard section there. So Rockefeller is a big, important area of research and interest for sure. We read through the story of the Rockefeller Foundation on this channel. In fact, we read through that in its entirety. Some pretty interesting stuff revealed there. That's on the playlists tab if you're interested in going back and watching those replays. So Rockefeller's, he's on here too. What else we got? Kitchener, very well known, kind of a bit of a heroic sort of character in history. History's written him down as such, but more to the character, more to the man and the story and the character, I think, than is often described in the mainstream history books, at least. Let's have a look. A little scan through here, see who else we've got that we know. Schiff, Morgan, the Warburg, the big banking families. We've already got Rothschild down here. That might be everyone. Times newspaper. Under the control of this group, which this book talks about, and Quigley as well. Astor, Waldorf Astor. He I think it's a he. Waldorf. That's a man's name, isn't it? Waldorf. Not a popular name these days, but Waldorf Astor put a lot of money into, if I'm not mistaken, the likes of the Fabian Socialists and that group around that sort of time. I think I might be wrong about that. And then lots of other names who I'm just still to learn about and get to know and understand. But it's quite a comprehensive diagram because you've got armaments, right? So you've got the military-industrial complex, the armaments firms, and then you've got the Committee of Imperial Defense. So this is your government organizations, arms and appendages of the government. They set up these groups and these councils, and they have to oversee certain things, certain aspects of their operation. You've got Oxford University and Roberts Academy, so it incorporates the academic side of things, the educational quote-unquote institutions as well. They're involved. They're co-opted, they are infiltrated, and they are being used to steer this agenda and move it forward. Then you've got the USA, France, Russia, and the Balkans all involved, and these all fall under the control of foreign politics. So this is where your diplomacy comes in, and diplomacy is a massive part of what this book covers, because the thesis is that there's this Milner group, and they're pulling strings, and they wanted to initiate the First World War. And part of that is diplomacy and flying out to these countries, they weren't flying out at that time, but going out to these countries and building up diplomatic ties and handshakes and agreements and promises and all this sort of stuff, right? So diplomacy is a big part of the game here. Then we go, so that's the control of foreign politics.